That's right. Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
Take a while too.
And welcome to our Rick and Morty recap podcast. It's season 5, episode 3, a Rickconvenient Mort. Guys, I don't know how to feel about this one. I really like it most of the time. There's a couple weak moments in it, but overall, I don't know. I feel like this is definitely the most character focused episode that we've gotten so far, and generally speaking, I'd say that's probably a good thing. I really thought that for a lot of the cast, especially Morty, Summer, and to a lesser extent Beth, they got a lot of development this episode, and so I'm like, okay, I'm like leaning, like I'm not usually into the character stuff with this show, but this episode really did lean into it, and I laid with it, so I enjoyed it in that regard.
Yeah, I thought this was a great episode. I really like this. I'll admit, a little much with the space orgies. Could have done without that, but I mean, it gets us to a good place with Summer and Rick. So it's kind of a it works. It's not my taste. I mean, I guess it works. I'll admit, I think we did a little too much blur in this one. We'll cover that. But overall, though, I mean, seriously, great episode. I have Captain Planet nostalgia, so I was looking forward to this. Once I saw it's like a quick glimpse of Planetine, like, oh, we're doing a Captain Planet thing next episode. So, and it did it, and it didn't go the way I thought it would, but for the better though. I thought it was going to go. I'm not saying it would have been bad, but I was expecting something maybe a little bit more. I don't know if on brand's the right word. I was thinking something a little bit more cynical of like. Morty's pursuing one-sidedly Planetina, but the fact that it was reciprocated, one major points with me, and earned a lot of respect. Like, okay, we're actually going for it. All right.
Yeah, it's like the first time that we see an actual relationship with Morty from beginning to end. Blossom and then come to a natural close. Like, it is the kid's real first love, and and I feel like that's a big step for him.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we got Claude in the comments with us. He says Captain Planet female reboot. Did you guys get the vibe that Planetina was like a metaphor for an older woman with like the whole "I have kids" thing and everything?
Kind of. I
and
mean,
Beth's suspicions.
Well, I mean, we did call it out later. There's a little boy on her.
Right.
So I mean, I don't think that's far off, Tiki. I don't think just given how think about it, up to this point with relationships, we've gone like Rick's had relations with a planet and a Unity and all sorts of things. So at this point, I think is like the least shocking thing of the bunch. I mean,
all right, Jacob, what do you think?
You mean of the episode?
Yeah.
I mean, it was good. I mean, I wouldn't rank it among my favorite episodes, but it definitely has its moments. I mean. When I first saw that, I was like, oh, is this gonna be like another like Planetina was like gonna be like it's a cross between Captain Marvel and Captain Planet.
Vaguely, I mean, I definitely think it leans more into the Captain Planet side.
Yeah.
Of
well, that's what I was fearing, like based on the costume and everything, and her powers and everything. It's like oh no, they're gonna do a whole like another like Marvel takedown or something like that. But no, it's like I mean, this as far as like their Marvel, if this is a Marvel parody, it's far better than their last one. But anyway, like maybe I mean I wasn't really too impressed with this episode, honestly. But I mean, maybe in retrospect, it was better than I gave it credit for.
Okay.
But I'll admit it's like I guess you kind of expect the cynicism, but so it's actually kind of a surprise when the show's actually trying to be sweet-natured for a change.
Claude, I can answer your question. Why can't Morty be in a long-term relationship? He's 14. That's why.
Pretty much. I mean, he's growing up. The kid's growing up. So maybe the next one will go better for him. But then again, cartoon characters aren't really allowed to age. So I don't know. I think
this was a big step from him just pining over a girl that he has like very little in common with.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I do like that we have kind of a wide range of opinions on this one, because I do think this episode is kind of like meant to stir up some divisive feelings. One thing I do praise it for is the realistic depiction of the relationship.
Yeah.
I really think it did both the high highs and the breakup really well. And I mean, the reason behind the breakup is kind of horrifying, but it's still very realistic. It's
Well,
it's like after something like that, it's like, no, I just can't.
did you hear the cool thing about kind of the relationship thing and the breakup?
No, what?
Dan Harmon, it's very self-based on kind of Dan Harmon's experiences. It's a really personal one for him.
I'm not surprised. It feels personal.
Yeah, I think that transferred beautifully in terms of the kind of the raw emotion of the episode in places. Yeah.
Sure. And I love Mama Bear Beth in this episode as well.
I like very much how it pays off, and I like the arc on her. That just think about it. The thing I noticed with Beth in the episode is that one, we legitimized her after the prototypical wine gag of like Jerry wine or like yes, like that sort of thing. But then think about it.
Wine, thank you.
Exactly. Now think about this. So before we've seen her go out of her way for Summer in the whole app episode from I think last season, the whole killer app thing and the whole like the dating thing. Everyone says random hook. Anyway, so that whole thing. So Beth went extraordinarily out of her way to protect Summer. Yet, as we've seen, like going to season 3, never listens to Morty. Doesn't really show Morty at all any due respect. And we call her out on that this episode, that you never listen, and it makes me feel like I don't belong. And I think that was really a good wake up call for Beth. So she came in full Mama Bear by the end and brought it home.
I mean, I love the ending, but I really do like how her suspicions were founded. It's like there were a lot of this relationship, as good as it was, is a great example. Like I like the way it's written, where it's a great example of like a realistically doomed relationship where it comes in too hot. Like you got that honeymoon period that's so intense, and you never really get to know each other before the flaws start to come into view. And I really think that was done quite well.
There was this really, I don't know. I thought there was going to be a really dark payoff with something, and we didn't go there, and I respect it for not going there. I thought the way the relationship was going to crumble, at least the way we are going to visualize it, was Morty had the rings, which essentially, remember, the rings summon Planet Tina, very Captain Planet-esque. And I thought, again, like he has the rings and he basically freed her. Now, the way I thought it was going to go is that, oh God, is Morty going to make like a selfish 14-year-old boy call where basically, if the relationship's going bad, he's going to like not summon her again, or basically kind of keep her at that beckoning call. But no, it's the fact, Morty's not a monster, at least until he possibly becomes evil Morty. We don't know. Let's just say for simplicity's sake, he just he let her be free. Didn't do like a vindictive kind of Rick and Morty thing that we may have seen before. It's just he's a human being. He's going to let her go. He's heartbroken, but that's how it's going to go.
Right. Yeah. Good stuff. What did y'all think of murdering the planet tears?
It was awesome.
Yeah, that was.
I love the wind gag. The wind gag was kind of like an inverse of the Legend of Korra death, where he sucks the wind out of her lungs.
And the same, everyone's going with. Everyone's saying it's a mixture of Infinity War meets Avatar: Last Airbender, the general universe with the core of it all. Yeah, it's
right.
Yeah, and also I love I think they're technically called Tina tears, which is just
oh God,
just funnier. Yeah, so I just love the lots, because seriously, Captain Planet I have also a nostalgia for, kind of like I do. It was like in the Freakazoid block from back in the day, kind of, and it was just like it was such a downgrade, but it's a superhero, so I'm gonna give it a shot. But it was here's the you watched it,
it's a blue superhero.
It was the fact that
different from Freakazoid.
It's like you're watching it for Captain Planet, but then you realize, it's more about the kids than it is Captain Planet, and Captain Planet's really just literally like an allegory for every time you think about it, man, Captain Planet is not nearly as exciting as I remembered it, so it's never held up. And I love that we kind
of hero dragon,
and the fact that they're trying to educate you while you're watching cartoons.
Yeah. So it's
like, now your tits turn, or stop trying to educate us.
Yeah. So just the fact that we kind of did a cynical, grown-up version. Okay, what if the Planeteers grew up and like, yeah, what if they kind of became corrupted by we can summon a superhero at our beck and call. Let's cash in on this merchandising, PR. And it's just like so skeezy. They're gonna sell a person essentially into slavery for as I love how they distinguished to an individual Arab character representing no group.
Like, I'm an individual character. I do not represent a group.
Who has infant baby seals. We don't know exactly what he's going to do with them, but he had an inordinate amount of infant baby seals that were very ornery.
Yep, and once they were released, they ate him.
Which seems just, seems just.
Yes.
No man should have that many baby seals.
Oh, God.
Yes, clearly that's the issue here.
Absolutely, yes.
So, hard time.
Anyway, but yeah, the brutal Planeteer sequence though in itself though, I just love that it's the sick. I guess it's the sick puppy in me, but I just love Morty fighting back. I love every time we've done that in the series, and I just love these were bad kids, man. I
got to admit, as much as I'm kind of like not that into the evil Morty of it all, I was getting a little bit of like, ooh, is this a little piece of the puzzle here? Is this a little stepping stone?
Yeah, I don't need him to be evil Morty, but I just like seeing Morty fight back, which nowadays people are calling.
But it is an interesting, like, if it is kind of like building up to evil Morty.
It would be cool if they were doing it on the sly the whole time, and like maybe like a season or two down the line we reveal, oh, he was
Morty
evil
is
Morty.
getting like very significant character development. I think way more fast than anyone else. So.
I know, which has been impressive so far.
Yeah.
I like that there's like call it out too, like you murdered people too. Well, no, they were they kidnapped me and they were gonna burn me and they were sell you into slavery. I mean, it was justified.
Yeah, there is a difference between killing and self-defense.
Yeah, those guys are just doing their jobs like Tread style.
And there's a difference between. I mean, realistically, there's a difference between killing and self-defense and straight up murder.
Yeah.
But Planetina was doing was straight up murder.
Yeah.
And again, Morty did have the whole Italian kind of delivery guy thing. Oh, you need a crispy. Here's a crispy Italian. Just like tosses the bloody head on the table.
Oh my God.
So I mean, albeit there still was sick and wrong about it, but it was justified.
That's Steve Buscemi too, right?
I don't know. Was it?
I think he was in this episode. At least.
I know. Okay, so Alison Brie is the only. Alison Brie plays Planetina. She did an excellent job. Alison Brie, for the kids out there, she was Diane in BoJack Horseman, and for me, she was. Well, I guess I watched BoJack too, so I guess technically both. She was Trudy Campbell in Mad Men, Pete Campbell's wife. For anyone who's seen that.
I've heard her name elsewhere, but I can't remember.
Yeah, she's in all sorts of things. Like she was in The Disaster Artist, because in real life she's married to Dave Franco. She was, so got roles all over the place. She pops up.
All right.
She's one to do, but yeah, I like that. She was, this, the environmentally conscious, very powerful, and again, obviously, just very, very. Once let off the leash, again, it was kind of like a slippery slope angle. It's like, well, she's now free to do anything she wants, and she's very fervent about protecting the environment. And oh boy, the lengths she's going to go.
Yeah. I think, like I said, with this episode, I feel like the other episodes of this season, the last two. Really, like the high sci-fi was kind of like the high point of it, and just getting super creative with the sci-fi ideas. And this one, like I said, it is much more character focused. So, so to speak of that, to kind of like bring it back around, let's talk about Summer. And I feel like Summer is like low key becoming another one of those characters that's getting some I felt like she got a lot of background development in the Mr. Nimbus episode, and once again, Jacob, say it with me.
For God's sake, Summer, he's
Mr. Nimbus. He controls the police. All right.
Is that gonna be like a running gag of ours?
Oh, I think so. He controls the police.
I wouldn't mind, honestly.
Yeah. So Summer, I feel like her kind of like taking on that big mission for Rick in that episode was. I always thought, like, from the second I saw that, I always thought, like, ooh, that's an important piece of the puzzle there. Like, that's something going on in the background with Rick and Summer.
Yeah, so we got to mention that
Dragon Jacob. I feel like this episode kind of cements like this season we're doing something interesting where I feel like Summer is kind of replacing Morty as Rick's right-hand man.
Which is a really interesting idea. Yeah, speaking of, I want to see how we visualize that, by the way, because we got to talk about the T-shirt gag.
Okay, let's talk about it.
I just love that once, so Planetina comes in, and again, 14-year-old boy is very distracted. He's starting to rebel and kind of split off from Rick, so he just tosses that shirt right in his face.
Speaking of which, what do you want to bet that they'll actually make real life versions of those shirts?
It's a foregone conclusion. It's absolutely gonna. But I love the fact, if you notice, when he gives that shirt, he didn't make a new one. He gave that shirt that was thrown in his face this summer, but he kind of drew like a ponytail and breast on Morty to make it Summer.
Yeah, and it still had holes in it from the acid rain.
Yeah, it's just hilarious. Like, he's very much like I love how you can kind of see that Rick. He's making the transition to that, Tiki, like you said, but I love that he is.
But also partly out of spite.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's mostly out of spite, though. It's just very much like he's kind of just jealous of Morty's gone.
Which is a very Rick thing to do.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season we got an epic monologue from Rick, except instead of the whole Rick and Morty forever, it'll be like Summer and Morty taking over the world.
I think you mean Summer and Rick. But
Summer and Rick. Yeah, I'm sorry.
What if it is Summer and Morty, though?
I mean, maybe.
It's possible.
Yeah.
So, Dragon, I want to get your take on this. Claude Kariga says, imagine Freakazoid showing up in Rick and Morty. Now, I imagine it would be a parody of Freakazoid.
I mean, either way, I
mean, Warner Brothers.
True.
I feel like it would work better as a parody, the same way Scary Terry works better as a parody.
I mean, it's just some things are like too sacred, Tiki. I don't know if I want to see that. I mean, we already dealt with Teen Titans Go.
I think what if they were true to the character, and what if Morty loved it, but Rick was super annoyed by it?
I mean, look, I've already seen. I've seen someone do that. Basically, in the Nostalgia Critic in the Deadpool 2 review, we did like all sorts of the fourth wall breaking pairs. I've seen Rick interact with a Freakazoid, and it always just seems like
you have seen Rick interact with Freakazoid in Nostalgia Critic? Dear God! All right,
that's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is just I know that obviously I'm sure. Yeah,
it's funny how years ago that would sound amazing, but now it just sounds like. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So that's my thing. Is I'm sure we'd have maybe some better writing on it here if we did it. Just like fundamentally, just seems like I don't want like the joy that is Freakazoid to just kind of be like.
So you know that the core idea would probably be how annoying Rick finds Freakazoid, and you don't want them to riff on that.
Yeah, and I'm sure it would be like a little put down of kind of like the '90s fare of Freakazoid. And it would just be like that's what I'm saying. I think we do that enough already. And we do fine with it. I just think if we take something that's really, really wonderful, and then we're just gonna like this. I'm not saying they wouldn't do something clever with it. I'm just saying I don't know if I want to see it.
All right, that's fair. So alien orgies. Let's talk. Let's talk, guys.
So hey, Jennifer Coolidge, though, I'll highlight her.
Hello.
Yeah, our boy Joshua Thomas. He loves Jennifer Coolidge.
Oh, I love Jennifer Coolidge. She's great.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Oh, I was thinking about this on the rewatch. Taking the whole hello thing. I mean, it's your bread and butter right there.
A little bit. I was
Michael Eisner should date Daphne.
Yeah.
Hello.
I mean, obviously, I'm sure they weren't thinking the Michael Eisner.
No, but I'm just saying. I meant for you. It's the fact this character just keeps saying hello like your parody of Michael Eisner.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Michael Eisner. I just smoked 5 packs of cigarettes. All right.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt with the origin, just everything. We had that weird. The way we blurred things that I don't think should have been blurred. With like them
the blurring in this episode was really weird. I think the sex orgy stuff. I like the character work that they were doing with it with Summer and Rick. I thought it was basically the most gratuitous that the show has gotten since Pickle Rick.
Well, that was more gratuitous in the violence sense, but I mean, sure. I mean, gratuitous.
But I'm just saying, like with the I don't know, man. It got pretty I mean, there comes a point. There comes a point.
I mean, look, I don't necessarily fault him for blurring the elbow. Yes.
You can pretty much say the censorship was all over the place in this episode.
Yeah,
I'm not just saying the censorship. I'm just saying the imagery.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, the orgy thing is just weird for me. I'm not saying it's not exactly not funny or anything, but it's just like not my taste at all. Just this whole, it's the fact that Summer has to like do like a slip and slide to get into the ship to blow up.
Okay, I did think that Summer kind of like on that peak high where she's got like the fucking joint up her nose and her eyes are just like blood red.
Yeah, essentially they're doing like an intergalactic doomsday party crawl. Like basically it's kind of like Loki. They're going through the apocalypses and just kind of partying.
Also, I think it is really funny that this kind of happened to air at the same time as Loki. Like there's no way they could have known that Loki was going to do this whole like that doomsdays were going to be like a big part of Loki. There's no way they could have known that, but it feels vaguely similar to Loki.
I mean, heck, one of the writers of Loki's wrote for Rick and Morty a couple episodes of Rick and Morty. So
yeah,
but it does vaguely have that kind of like, oh, it's the end of the world and we can do whatever we want.
I mean, for me, always though, just with the blurring censorship. A lot of the times when you blur actions and like physical gestures, it always to me seems ridiculous because everyone's going to know what the middle finger looks like. Or why are we blurring this? and like in this case, we blurred like tongues and obscene like hand gestures, which I mean, it's just going to be animated characters moving their hands and their tongues. I don't really think that needs censorship. The whole elbow thing probably does though. It's more horrifying the fact that I don't know. I mean, they say it's like an extra pair of breasts on the end of the elbow, but I don't trust that. I have no idea. I don't want to see that.
Even if it wasn't obscene, it plays more funny blurred.
I'm saying like that I get. That works. Okay, that makes it more horrifying. That hits the joke perfectly. Everything the other stuff was like, why are it feeds in the whole middle finger argument? Like, why do you do this? What's the point? Okay, yes, it's imitatable, but it's like it's very clear what they're doing. It's a waste of pixelation.
Yeah, I hear you. Oh,
God.
All right, let's see.
Thoughts on Jerry being Jerry?
Well, at least we kept him minimal, so that's a win.
I like
playing
during board game night actually being genuinely interested in the board game when everyone else is preoccupied with the drama. That's about the only time he stood out to me.
and he was fairly reasonable when he was like, he was fairly reasonable earlier, but trying to get his approval.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't say he wasn't being reasonable.
Well, I was a little bit more like, me. I need to have the final say. Wah, wah, wah.
Well, I mean, he has that right. I mean, that's his daughter, and his grandfather's just overriding. So.
Okay, can I just say I really love the Morty just slamming the door the multiple times. I thought that was really well animated.
I like the payoff of when he didn't do it multiple times. Where it's okay, we did earlier for comedic effect, but no, this is serious. We're gonna have like a whole montage and everything. No.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Jennifer Coolidge also voiced Lazy Susan from Gravity Falls. That is true.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, there's quite a bit of overlap in this show, but
there is.
Well, it helps that Alex Hurst and Justin Roiland are friends.
That's nice.
Anything we're not going over, guys?
Well, I mean, we are. I mean, anything else you guys want to add to the montage? Because I think maybe we give the breakup another pass in the post-credit. I think that's about it. So,
I mean, with the montage, I just think that, like I said, everything about the relationship, like you can totally tell that it's pulled from real life because it all feels very genuine. It all feels very authentic. And man, I gotta say, it really does just tug at the heartstrings. I really did. I was really moved by it.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, look, things are moving fast, and that's the point. And I do like to think that there was an actual, care and compassion, but it's a really interesting relationship dilemma where, if let's just say, for argument's sake, you love this person, but they're doing terrible things, And it's not like, oh, she's like, like doing small bad things. Like, no, she's doing majorly bad.
She
Like,
drinks
she's
a little too much on the weekends or something like that.
yeah, it's like she's
Yeah.
essentially she's an environmental, eco-terrorist. Essentially,
Yeah, exactly.
Like environmental
It's like
extremism.
taking poison ivy on steroids.
That's what I'm saying. It's like she's an eco-terrorist or like an environmental, extremist of some variety. And that's what I'm saying. It's very unavoidable. She's like frying these poor workmen just doing their jobs.
She's an eco-terrorist with superpowers.
Exactly. So that's the thing. It makes the breakup for me more palpable. Where I get absolutely where Morty's coming from, and he does bear a part of this to blame, and that he rushed into this. So that they basically they both have an expectation of happiness, and he has to shatter that. And he absolutely has to shatter it because it's crazy if he abides this.
I wonder if she'll ever come back.
Oh, sure she will. Well, I don't know if it's going to be this season.
I think this episode made too good of an impression.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be down the line. I don't think it's going to be this season.
Yeah.
But she'll be back.
I still think she could potentially play into Evil Morty.
Oh man, let's see. Usually every time now we're talking about Evil Morty. Now there's like an ex-girlfriend involved.
That's what I'm saying, man. I think that is I think this is maybe one of the most emotionally devastating things that's ever happened to him.
See, right now I keep jumping to with the whole evil version of a character and the ex. I'm thinking of Buzz Lightyear Starkman, which had an evil Buzz Lightyear and basically the Buzz's girlfriend, ex kind of villain bad girl of the show. Warmed up to the evil Buzz Lightyear, so it kind of reminds me of that. Anyway, so one other thing is the relationship stuff we should hit, though. The whole Daphne relation, because we talked about how kind of the sick and wrong kind of nature of the orgy stuff, but not the and the Summer side of it. But yeah, so Daphne was Summer's way of kind of demonstrating that Rick is being used, and again, so Rick was put in his place in this episode.
What I like? Like this season genuinely is living up to its promise at the end of season 4 of like Rick is not going to have control now. Like this is a totally I do appreciate that storytelling wise. We're not just being like, okay, well, let's see what weird adventure are Rick and Morty going to get into this week. Let's see, Rick fucks a Dungeons and Dragons dragon. Fine, whatever. It's like they're actually taking time. Like the concepts of the episode still feel very genuinely Rick and Morty, but they're still taking time to like really play out the dominoes they set up at the end of season 4. Like, I think these 3 seasons. Don't get me wrong. It's not like a metric ton of continuity, but I think it's easily probably the most continuity-heavy season we've seen so far as far as following up on the last season.
And so far, 3 episodes in, the pattern still continues of we're teasing like major stuff, like, oh my god, look how fast this relationship's moving with Morty, yet at the end it's like, okay, he just went to like a stage of adulthood, it's a small step forward in the grand scheme of things. So it's a very, very authentic step forward, but it's a small one ultimately. So again, it's that pattern of like, we're teasing massive changes, but it's a little inch forward. Let's see. Also, the sad topiary. Good touch. It's a nice touch.
Oh my god, yeah, that topiary. Drake, do you know if that was based on any real life thing?
Not specifically.
Specific detail, Dragon.
I think it was a stylistic thing. I don't know. It was environmental. Give her like a flower in the shape of his head.
We'll just chug it to artistic license.
Yeah. Sometimes that's all you need. Okay, so we got the post credit was actually they had a great TV alumni who came in. For this episode, they had the incestuous kind of orgy family.
Oh god!
So one of the great TV supporting character legends, Fred Stoller. Fred Stoller is like the extra of television. He's been in a lot of shows. Shows up. He's a writer. He was on Seinfeld. Seinfeld. Everybody loves Raymond. You name it. Like Friends. He just pops up a lot. So the fact that we got him on Rick and Morty and gave him like a like he's never had dialogue like this. He's never been like this. Like says, "Where's mom?" She's not because we had sex. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, and that's the fact I knew that's Fred Stoller. Oh my god, we gave him this to say. It's great.
Yeah, good times.
Crazy. It's the fact like we thought the world was going to end. We did things that we're not proud of, and if the world keeps on spinning, there's going to be some aftermath. It's not going to be pleasant.
all because Summer decided not to let the planet blow up.
Yep, and again, purely for selfish reasons. Not for like,
I do love that. I do love that kind of like that backfires on her.
But man, I'm sick of this Daphne lady. Oh, by the way, I have a very. I don't know.
And I love how Ricky put out that was a very Rick thing to do.
Yes, it was. I can't prove this, but just given that they made these references before, I gotta tell you, I think that we're making yet another Frasier reference with naming this character Daphne.
Possibly.
Is it like what is it, like 2 episodes ago we had the whole like this whisper BS, this whisper in the kitchen Frasier
the
BS.
Frasier whisper BS. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And they are Frasier fans.
It's
Like, we did like the
possible.
whole we did like the ripped all the old men are ripped thing, and then we had like a Frasier gag there. We keep putting it, and of course Spencer Graham, right? It's the main reason was always gonna be a little bit of Frasier on their minds with Kelsey Graham or Spencer. Anyway, little thing I noticed, a little headcanon. We'll see if it goes anywhere. Okay.
I wonder if they'll get Kelsey Grammer on this show sometime.
That would maybe that's what they're angling for. Be even better if they got David Hyde Pierce, but yes.
I'm surprised he hasn't been on the show. I'm surprised he hasn't been on the show already.
Well, we got Sam Neill. Anything is possible.
All right. Final thoughts, guys?
I thought we were doing final thoughts.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, my God. I'm so sorry.
Let's thank the people for tuning in, Tiki.
Okay, yeah. All right, so big thanks to Claude Coringa for tuning in. Thank you, Claude. All right, guys. So we've actually got Christmas in July coming up very soon as well. So look forward to that. Should be a fun time. And yeah, that's about it. See y'all later.
That was a very Rick thing to do.
Elements for murder.
Hello.